Welcome to the Thursday, August 16, 2018 Arts and Culture Commission meeting. May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioners Hovhanessian.
Here.
Oshagan.
Yes.
Zadorian.
Here.
Vice Chair Vidor.
Yes.
Chairperson Sahakian.
Here.
The agenda for the August 16 meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall on August 13, 2018.
Before we proceed, I do want to very briefly welcome our new commissioner, Savannah Zadorian. We're very happy to have you here, and we'll do a brief bio and introduction during our commission comments at the end of the meeting, but welcome.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Next item, please.
Item 2, consent items. At 2A, approval of regular meeting minutes from July 19, 2018.
Okay.
Any questions, changes?
No, I think I move to accept the minutes from last meeting.
Great. Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioners Hovhanessian.
Yes.
Oshagan.
Yes.
Zadorian.
Abstain, as I wasn't there.
Okay. Vice Chair Vidor.
Yes.
Chairperson Sahakian.
Yes. Next item, please.
Item 3, introduction of presentations. At 3A, Library Arts and Culture events presented by Chuck Wyke, Community Relations Manager.
Good afternoon, Chair Sahakian, Commissioners, staff. I'm going to give you a brief rundown of the upcoming events at the Library Arts and Culture Department. I'll start out with a picture you probably seen yourself up there at Brand Library. This is part of the Friday night performances that are made possible by a Arts and Culture Commission and by the Brand Associates. This was 2 weeks ago. Nice crowd, great night, really hot, but a lot of fun. And for whatever reason, there were lots of swing bands that came in that were chosen this year, but a lot of them entered anything from like the roaring 20s on up into the 40s and 50s. And consequently, we got a lot of dancers. So that's a nice little addition. I just want to give you a heads up. The last program is Friday, August 31st at 7 p.m. at Brand Library. The lady right dead center there is Barbara Morrison. She's a staple on the jazz scene, not just LA, but also internationally. She has toured everywhere. In 2008, she opened the Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center. It's a 99-seat theater and adaptable performance space located in the historic Leimert Park District, the center of the African-American art scene in LA. We are really, really thrilled to have her close out this year's programs. Reflect Space, Downtown Central Library. The current exhibition is Do the Right Thing, Comfort Women Resist. Upcoming will be a 2-week show called Elevate. It's basically the centennial exhibition for the Homenetmen group. So that'll be September 15th. We have, speaking of arts and culture online, we have a new service called Hoopla. You can get ebooks, audiobooks, comics, movies, music, 24/7. You just need a library card. Just a variety of movies and television shows. There are approximately 600,000 items that you can get. You don't have to wait. There's no holds put on anything. If you want it, you click on it and off you go. You get it right there. It's a really, really nice new system that we're offering. Brand Library. Their current exhibition ends next week, August 24th. It's Joshua Hagler and Elizabeth Dorbad, and they're calling it the River Lethe. So there's 2 more programs. This Saturday, there's a poetry Q&A question and answer with award-winning poets Alison Bennis-White and Vandana Khanna. And this is going to be moderated by a notable poet herself and a instructor, Colette LaBouffe. And then for their final program, the River Lethe, there's an artist talk with Joshua Hagler. And he is exhibited in galleries and museums all over the world. A lot of solo exhibitions. He's a columnist for Venison magazine and a recipient of numerous awards and residencies. And again, the River Lethe exhibition ends on August 24. Then coming up at Brand Library is their annual Works on Paper. It's a juried exhibition. The public reception and awards ceremonies on Saturday, September 8th from 7 to 9:30, and the exhibition will be open to the public during regular Brand Library hours through the end of October. I should also add that there is a special event and a new member drive. That's basically a reception and a preview, they're calling it, for the exhibition. That is sponsored by the Brand Associates. You don't have to be a member, but you have to become a member that night if you want to take part in that. But you're going to get the first look at that artwork, and that starts at 5 o'clock, again, September 8th. Music animated, there's a group called the Beat Buds that it's a duo. They do a lot of original music, and they get kids and families interested in music. They get them singing and dancing. That's, again, at Brand Library on Saturday, September 22 in the morning. That will be followed by what we call our, the petting zoo. It's a musical petting zoo. So we have a wide variety of musical instruments, and the kids and families are able to take part in that after this program. Should be fun. This is, again, Brand Library. This was taken by our own GTV6. They are able to use a drone. They have an FAA license. So shout out to them. Great shot. I'm just bringing this up, and here's the inside of Brand Library, because there are a number of changes that took place following the 2014 renovation. And so the Brand Associates have docent tours. There's one coming up this Saturday in the morning, and another one on September 22nd, both on Saturdays in the morning. It's a great way to see how everything's changed. For instance, this area here, the plaza, where the bands perform and people sit and enjoy everything, that was not the original entrance to the Brand Mansion. That was on the other side of the building, but the renovation centralized the entrances, so you can get in the same place right there. So if you want to learn more about the Brand Library and the history of it, please go to one of those docent tours. If you need more information, we have our website, we have phone numbers, and you can call me directly.
Great. Thank you for that report, Chuck. Lots of great things going on in Glendale as usual. Any comments from commissioners? Questions before we proceed? Commissioner Ocean?
Yes. I could just fill in a couple of things about what's going on at the Downtown Central. The exhibits we have right now is about comfort women. We have lots of international artists actually part of this exhibition, and uniquely we have a media art piece that sources the internet for information and displays that information through digital portraits. We have a Japanese artist dealing with Korean comfort women issue. We have American artists. And we also have an installation, which happens to be my work, which I was very fortunate to be invited to Korea to create some work and bring it back to display here in Glendale. So I'm very fortunate to be part of this exhibition, and I urge everyone to come see it. Also, I want to mention very quickly, with the next exhibition, Elevate, that we're doing, it's really, it's going to be the first time in the library where every work in the gallery is actually commissioned and created, installed in the space originally just for this exhibition. It's It's about this organization that was critical in bringing the Armenian nation back up on its feet after the genocide. It's a global organization. It's an athletic, scouting, and social organization. And it's going to be kind of a unique thing. Unfortunately, it's a short exhibition that we're doing, but I urge everyone also to come see that because it'll be created brand new by artists, commissioned. The work is going on right now. We're going to be displaying it coming up in September.
I went to the, 2 weekends ago, to the Korean Comfort Women exhibition, and it's really amazing. It's very multifaceted, and it was very moving, and I listened. There are videos of recounts from survivors of that, and those were very moving to listen to as well. So thank you for putting that together.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Next item, please.
Item 4, oral communications. Discussion is limited to items not on this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. The commission may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. The commission may refer the matter to city staff for investigation and report.
Great, and we have one speaker, Michael Sheehan. Welcome, Michael.
There will be no debate. First of all, I think that we should take a moment on behalf of Aretha Franklin, because we all, in these dark days, need respect. There. I'm here because the City Council, in the wisdom of itself, on Tuesday, allowed to move forward the urban art project that has been discussed through a commissioned survey, come up with ideas for public art in Glendale. And so when I heard that you guys were meeting today, I thought that I would come and put the spurs to you in the hope that we or whomever will be making the decisions about if a new commission will be formed with a new administrator, or if this commission will be in charge of vetting public art, to move forward on it. Because every time you mention to anybody that you're dealing with the city, they say, well, you know, it's the city, which generally moves at a snail's pace. I am not a patient person when it comes to this. I've lived in Adams Hill for over 30 years. Arlene and I have been neighbors there since my moving in after she did in 1986. And so I heard that. I bailed out on the city council meeting. I just got pooped after 3 hours. But I heard that the gas station, our gas station, was mentioned. And if there's a way for art and culture to combine with, Adams Hill Neighborhood Association pretty much has a monopoly on putting stuff into the gas station now. But I would like to see that opened up to more commissions, hopefully with payment to the artists, to provide stuff in there that is inspirational and does a good job for South Glendale. Also, I wanted to mention that public art that ARA installed recently on Central Park was a major installation that proves to me the importance of Central Park. And when I've heard about what the City Council was going through by not being able to sit in on a meeting with the Planning Commission or the Board of Directors for the coming museum, it bothered me a little bit, because if the city is giving away a couple of acres of park space, it seems like the city ought to have a voice in that. And I think that we all enjoyed ARA's installation a lot. It was, in spite of some of the problems that you had, I thought it was spectacular. And so I hope that you would agree with me that maybe finding another space for the museum project and making sure that the board of directors for the museum project allows at least informational stuff to come directly to City Council, or maybe to one of you or to someone who represents the city. I think that would be a good idea. And so I'm happy to live in Adams Hill, and I can see you're all thrilled to have me here. And so if there's any way that I can help, I've applied to be a commissioner in the past, and so congratulations to our new commissioner. I hope you have a nice time with these people, because they're all good people and they actually like art. So
Thank you.
That's good. So if you have any questions for me, I'm certainly full of answers.
Great. Thank you, Michael, very much for attending our commission meeting, and you've been involved with the Urban Art Program plan as well, so we appreciate the time you volunteered as well. If you actually stick around, our next item is about trying to move quickly so that we can start getting to some of the projects, and we're planning to start a retreat, or schedule a retreat in the next month or so that we can actually get to start to discuss what to
I know there's
implement
not supposed to be a debate, but do you know, I've heard a rumor that at least one person has been approached to be a commissioner on the public art thing, whatever that becomes. And that's a little disturbing because it was before it was even vetted by city council. And so will it be a separate organization, or will it be your organization?
Unfortunately, the rules that be, I'm going to have to cut us short so it doesn't turn into a debate, but it will be the Arts and Culture Commission and City Council and staff working on the implementation of the Urban Art Program.
So that's not really an answer.
So if you stick around for the next item, you'll probably learn more, but maybe we can have staff follow up with you afterwards and we can break down the process a little bit more following the meeting.
I came in under time.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. Next item, please.
Item 5, business agenda. At 5A, action item. At 5A1, proposed Arts and Culture Commission retreat.
Chair Sahakian requested that the commission discuss organizing a retreat to set the strategic direction of the Arts and Culture Commission and develop a 2019-20 work plan. The commission may adopt a motion to direct staff to move forward in organizing the retreat and reserving a venue.
Great. So very briefly, I'll just mention, congratulations to my colleagues, the staff, and City Council that the Urban Art Program has moved forward and was approved. And so now, I mentioned this at a previous meeting, as much as we thought we were putting so much work to get it that far, now the real work begins because we have to look at this grand plan and figure out what do we do in the next year, what do we do in 2 years, what do we do in 3 years, what does it cost, how do we fund it. So very excited to be at this stage. And so the goal is to plan a retreat. So that's the item we're going to be discussing right now. Maybe what we hope to get out of the retreat is something we can hear feedback on from the commissioners. And then we will come back together during that retreat for an extended period to really dive deep on the Urban Art Program and what our next steps are.
So could you reiterate what the goal of the retreat is?
I guess step one is for us to decide, I think, as a commission what the goal is.
Okay.
But I think going back to now that there is a strategic plan, we'd be back to our regular process where we're developing shorter work plans. So this will be the 2019-2020 work plan. And so we'll be deciding in advance kind of what are we going to recommend to council for what are the first few projects that we're going to be able to implement. And then also be thinking about long-term what that means for the Urban Art Fund.
And if you say retreat, do I understand that to be a meeting that is not conducted in view of the public, or is it like this meeting?
Chair Sahakian and commissioners, it will be open to the public. It'll be calendared as a special meeting, but it won't be televised. Some of the past retreats have been held at the Central Library.
Okay.
Questions or comments?
Comments? Yes, I do believe that now that we have all these tasks kind of identified, we need to procedurize it, we need to put a timeline, we need to see what is more essential, and accordingly step towards it, because the retreat is going to be actually how we will actualize what we have talked about all this time. So it's a major, major procedure. I'm very happy that we are going to have that possibility to do. And since it's not televised, but it's open to public, it's a great idea because people can express their thoughts much better and without any kind of issues. So looking forward to, and if I am a commissioner at the given time, I'll participate. If not, I'll be there as public or anything is decided, because to me, this was a major achievement for Arts and Culture Commission, being 13 years on this dais. And I would like to see how my colleagues are going to work through it to get whatever we have wished and planned for so many years. So it's a great idea. Thank you for putting it on the agenda.
Can I speak?
Yes.
One of the recommendations, as we talked about, was creating a staff person to oversee this effort as we move forward. Right now, that the city's in a soft hiring freeze. And so what I think the goal moving forward on the retreat needs to be thinking about the things that with current staffing at, between the commission as well as Library Arts and Culture, that we can make recommendations for the work plan based on the things in the urban art program plan that we can hopefully carry forward in the next year. Granted, we would love to see a position added, and hopefully at a future date we will. But I think when you're reviewing the program plan, be thinking about the things that we can carry forward with limited staffing over the next year as we approach the hiring and hopefully carry that into fruition.
On that, I have a question. Well, I do understand, and we do need, that was a major issue, but I do understand that city has its own issues, and we have to know how we need things to be budgeted. But I do believe maybe we could decide to have some kind of committees, volunteers, who would help the staff with the limited time that they have, that some of the tasks would be given to them to actualize, if it's a possibility, if it's an okay thing legally. I don't know, Mike, but we need to go ahead and proceed with stuff. We cannot postpone it any longer. But I'm sure there are many people who are approaching for the positions that were open, that there are such great volunteers who want to be dedicating their life to help commission. So we can have those people come together if that's okay. So we would proceed with whatever we have. Yes, we would have in mind that naturally when we have a staff member full-time, we can do much, much more. But nonetheless, things cannot be postponed. So we could have people who are really volunteers in the community, and they are capable, they know what to do. Under the direction of the limited time staff members, they can proceed to do what we need to do. That's what I'm very adamant about it.
Commissioner Shah,
Yeah, I echo Commissioner Arlett's statement earlier, and then the fact that we need to have a retreat, sit around the table, have discussions, not in a dais format here where we're looking this way and my neck is always craning this way and that way. We can exchange ideas and come up with a good plan within the parameters of the master plan, or it's no longer a master plan, it's a public plan that we've adopted in a great way. And I guess we have to also realize that there are certain limitations to that, and I'm not sure if volunteers will actually be able to help in this way. But anyway, right now we're talking about the retreat, and I am 100% behind it, and we should do it as soon as possible.
Can I add one more thing? Prior to this, Commission had a different structure. Commissioners were participating in actually doing things. So we had a 1.5 staff person, then we had a half person, and a half and half of that. But nonetheless, we did a lot of projects. We made sure a lot of things came through, and they were fantastic. And up to today, people are talking about it. So I do believe commissioners can give their time to do that as well till we get the staff person complete on whatever we need to do, because we cannot postpone. The idea is no postponement, even though we need to procedurize to see what could be done with us and what definitely has to have a staff person to take care of.
I agree with what everyone said. I think it would be a great idea in this thing, since, it's been since May, really, since we delved into this thing, that maybe we take a little time and perhaps we can do this. I don't want to violate the Brown Act, but maybe we can just spend some time as a group reviewing and, digging back into the document that, for so long we had it in our brains, but then we went away. So we could do that, and then once we all get calibrated to the same kind of, factual information, maybe the next step then would be to decide, to your point, Arlette, how we want to work, what the best way. We had these committees that dealt with Art Happens Anywhere, and I think there were some projects that were kind of put on hold until this plan was. So maybe we just start with the structural aspect, the administrative aspect, and that may take an extra session, but I think it would be worth it to have our modus operandi figured out before we get into deciding actually what the work plan will be. So if we can do that as a team in some way, just amongst ourselves, I don't know if that's legal or not, but whatever we can do to, give ourselves an opportunity to, come together, that I think that would be useful. It would be for me anyway. But
Besides the retreat? Is that what, I'm not
this would be
besides the retreat, before the
yes,
retreat?
yeah, actually like a session, like a study session of, when we go in front of the public with a retreat of the work, talking about the work plan, how is it going to work? Are there going to be committee chairs assigned to handle the different components? Are there going to be people solicited from the outside who we know would be, to your point of volunteerism, appropriate for that? And I would prefer to discuss that amongst the commission and figure that out and then present that to the public, rather than have a real big working discussion and debate about it in a public setting, because I think the administrative part we really haven't revisited since we put everything on hold several months ago.
The suggestion by Mike was that would be a special meeting that would be
Special
held
meeting?
prior to the retreat.
Okay.
Or the other suggestion may be that that's how the meeting starts. Because my understanding is the retreats in the past have been like a day-long process. It's not just a couple hours, so maybe it's structured that the beginning of the day is kind of
Okay.
identifying that, and then moving forward with suggestions for the work plan.
Oh, okay. So it's almost like a big workshop where there's session one, session two.
My understanding is, in the
Okay.
past, it was like 9 to 5. And
Oh,
it was
all
all
right.
day at, we could reserve the auditorium, we could look at the director's conference room, depending on anticipated attendance.
Okay. I'm not familiar with the term
Yeah,
retreat being, I hadn't heard that one only in the corporate world where you go off to a luxurious hotel and
Yeah, that's where we
think about how you're going to make money. So,
I've been,
Big Bear. Yeah, that's where we're going to the retreat.
I've been learning
So-
all week as well.
I think right now we're currently in a meeting to plan a meeting.
a
So
meeting to plan a meeting. So now that I understand what the meeting looks like, let's,
yeah, unfortunately, with the timing of when the council meeting was and when our next commission was, we're kind
Yeah,
of,
right.
but
Got
it's
it.
an opportunity for us to have a discussion about what we hope to get out of the retreat. But
Okay.
I think it's exactly what you described. It's
Yeah.
a study session where we have a lot more time together. Like you said, we're in a normal setting, not on a dais. Public will be there, of course. We'll be able to give them an opportunity to give feedback. But it is an opportunity for all of us to have a debate over our priorities. What do we think we can do short term, long term? As was mentioned, we have to plan for the staff we have now.
Yes.
And then, when that changes, we can adjust our plans accordingly. Yes.
One suggestion, it is major. Whatever is decided or discussed, either on the dais before we get to the special meeting or any whatever, I would really suggest that every commissioner on this dais would definitely discuss with the council member also to see what is their volition, because I do not want anybody to be surprised, nor anything that we put so many hours to decide to be postponed because it is misunderstood or they were not clear about it. It is our job to inform them, and it is their job to listen to us before any kind of communication we do, so that we would truly represent the people who have appointed us. Otherwise, we would spend too much time, and sometimes things get on the back burner and almost may be forgotten. So that is major. That is my legacy I need to leave behind. That is a must. And I'm going to talk to the council members as well, that there needs to be a time appointed or given to their appointees that everything would be clear. It would make the job of the staff clear too, because they have to go and hunt and find out how things are working. Whatever we decide here, it has to be already discussed, then finalized by the staff who go to the council, and then the council members approve it or not. So let's make that, let's cut the extra time spent and be very serious about this. I know before it was not expected, but what is expected with this master plan, Commission has a major role, has to do a lot of things that before, when we were only for the policies, it was a different story. So that's why that would create a better understanding for the community as well. So that is a must. So whatever we do, let's have that in mind, and then we'll proceed accordingly. I've made my peace now.
And also, I do want to be clear with the public as well that we will not be voting and deciding what actually gets implemented during this retreat either. It's an opportunity for us to have a very extended conversation. That will then be summarized and brought back at a future meeting that is a regular scheduled meeting where the public will still have opportunities to give feedback as well. And for us to have more dialogue before we finally vote on it and make a recommendation to City Council. So it's the starting point, it's not the ending point. Any other comments? Did we need any direction in terms of scheduling, or that's something staff will follow up on coordinating?
I think we'll need to identify how big the space and then check the calendar. I don't know if Commission wants to try to do it before the next meeting in September. I mean, that might be another discussion point, how quickly you want to move forward with it.
We had one vote for ASAP here. I'll be a
ASAP.
second vote for ASAP
Tomorrow,
here.
anybody free tomorrow?
Let's go for it.
So maybe what we could do, I know that, like, the director's conference room is open pretty much whenever we need it, but if we anticipate more than 15 people, then we would need to use the auditorium or another space. We do also, I mean, we have other library, like Chevy Chase or other places we could look at. So any direction on how many people you would anticipate?
I'm not clear. Are we going to have that first session that among us, we are going to talk about it and then have with the public, or just it's with the public no matter what we do?
meeting.
Okay.
Always has to be with the public. We can ask, besides 5 of us, how many staff and people will need to be present at the meeting?
I would anticipate us 4. And it was mentioned that in the past with these retreats, there was no public there. So,
Correct.
I mean, that does
least
give
that
us a lot of flexibility with the director's conference room if that's how you want us to proceed. In which case, I think it's more about what works with all of your schedules.
I'd recommend that we don't go for the big auditorium, expecting hundreds of people, but let's pick a space that there's plenty of space for public, that if they do choose to attend, and we hope they do, that we can accommodate them as well. I think the conference room might be a little bit too small for that.
Would a place like Chevy Chase Library work for everyone or no? Or we could look at Brand's Recital Hall would be another place. Because Chevy Chase is only open, I think, 11 hours a week, so there's a lot of flexibility with that. That was one of the reasons I was suggesting it. So I'm thinking maybe we should look at what days will work for you, and then we'll find a space that will accommodate based on that. Because I know a lot of people are busy.
Great. So if there are no further questions or comments, we do have a motion.
I move to have a retreat in Big Bear.
Well, I can assure you that they bring good lunch. So even if it's not Big Bear, we always have been well taken care of. But my request would be, let's put on the agenda as fast as we can. Because we all have, I know, a lot of things to take care of, but this is crucial. We have waited too long.
Great. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Oh, all right.
Great. Roll call, please.
Commissioners Hovhannissian,
Yes.
Oshagan,
Yes.
Sidorian,
Yes.
Vice Chair Vidor,
Yes.
Chairperson Sahakian.
Yes.
Item 6, Commission staff comments.
Great. So don't traditionally do this, but I'd like to open it for today's meeting. First, I do want to thank Commissioner Harar Sharikian for his service on this commission. He was a great colleague for all of us, and we hope that we can find more opportunities in the future for him to stay connected with us. But we very much thank him for his service, and we're very excited today to be welcoming our new commissioner, Savannah Zadorian. We're very pleased to have you, and I believe we have a brief bio staff will be reading to tell the public about Savannah.
We are very happy to welcome Savannah Zadorian. She is a graduate of Glendale Community College and the University of San Francisco in political science. She's been active in the arts and theater, curating art shows, pop-up galleries, acted in a play, and produced art pieces for magazines. She's also been involved in local government and politics, recently managing a Glendale City Council campaign. We're excited to have her on the commission and look forward to her participation. Savannah, would you like to say a few words?
I would love to. Thank you so much. I'm going to read off my phone if that's okay. I just wanted to thank the council one more time. I said at the city council meeting, but I want to thank them for Mayor Sinanian for appointing me and the rest of the city council for voting me in. I was born and raised in Glendale, so this is truly an honor for me, having grown up here. I was born at Glendale Adventist. I was raised in the GUSD system, so I'm very happy to be sitting up here on the dais. I also want to express my gratitude to the current commission members. They've already been very welcoming, and I'm excited to start working with them. As a longtime community activist and organizer in Glendale, I'm fully aware of all the work that they have put in, each of the commissioners on this dais. And so I start this journey with the utmost respect for my colleagues. I look up to them, and I believe we'll do great work together. I'm actually very proud to say that I know most of you on a personal capacity. If not, I've already gone to in the last 2 weeks or so. And thank you for the introduction. And I know those are most of my qualifications, but really arts has been an integral part of my life, and it continues to be. And I really look forward to seeing what's going to be done in Glendale. I know I kind of got thrown into this in like the nick of things after the urban art plan has been passed. So I'm really excited to see where Glendale is going to take this and to be a part of it and make this really an art-centric, just an art hub for people to come to and attract more people to Glendale. So thank you very much to everybody, staff, my colleagues, and city council. Thank you.
Great, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
If any commissioners have any additional comments?
No, just want to say I'm very glad to see you here since you got your elected official to be elected. So I'm sure you're going to make sure that whatever commission decides will get a go in the community. I'm very outspoken always, anyhow. So that hopefully you would use your energy and know-how into making sure that whatever we have, community and public gets part of it, and we will proceed, and the commission will proceed much faster, much better than before. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you'll be our campaign manager too.
Any day.
Yes, you are well qualified by passion as well as actual credentials to be on a Glendale commission. And I, particularly appreciate some of your, this is not to be tongue-in-cheek, your political experience that always serves one well when you're, just navigating through regulations and getting things implemented. So
Thank you.
it'll be good.
Thank you.
Commissioner Shah?
Yeah, first couple of words about Commissioner Sherikian. As Chairperson Sahagian said, we worked together for many years, and we really appreciate his commitment and his contributions, and which have been significant over the years on this commission. What I really appreciated about the commissioner was that he was always very thorough in reading sometimes big documents, making sure he looks at the detail. He was very detail-oriented, and as well, he was very critical of things, right? He always approached things in a way that he wanted to analyze and if needs be, criticize. So I think that kind of attitude that he brought to the commission, I think we should really see as his legacy and continue in that way, be always detail-oriented and always open to new ideas and be critical of what's in front of us. So thank you, Commissioner Sherikian, for being our colleague so many years. And I welcome our new commissioner. We're very happy to be here. Just like Arlene could have said it better, your enthusiasm as well as your qualifications to be on this commission are right fit perfectly for our commission and for the tremendous work we have in front of us. Next few years are going to be critical for Glendale arts, and whether or not we are successful and we do what we do right, if we do it properly, Glendale will become a regional arts center, I believe. If we don't, then and we're going to be sort of in the same place where we've been for a long time. But I think we are a a commission that can do it. We can really bring Glendale to a complete different level.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Since we talked about Commissioner Sharikian, I need to say he was a man of integrity. He was very meticulous about things, but he was extremely passionate about art. Whenever he talked about art, you could see the eyes would twinkle. I would forget the rest of the thing. I would be watching him because you could see he was so vivacious. It was coming from his soul when he was making decisions. So we'll miss him, and we'll wish him all the best in life because he's a great guy. And now we have somebody else who's going to continue the tradition. So thank you, Harar. Okay.
If I can make a comment, I got to know Commissioner Sharikian, or I guess Harai Sharikian at this point, and they're very big shoes to fill, so I really look forward to it, and I hope I can do it justice and make everybody very happy. Thank you.
Sure.
Great. Thank you. And if there are no additional comments, just lastly, I want to also thank City Council for their support on the Urban Art Program Plan. It is an exciting day for the Commission. And looking forward to all the great things we're going to be able to do now moving forward. And I do want to thank Barbara Goldstein, CARS, all of the staff here, all of the volunteers and community members who have been involved in the process. We had very packed community meetings, which was great to see because it's not always the case. So we're very proud of that. And lastly, I do want to congratulate Cindy Cleary as well because I think this was her last project as she deservingly retired after many years of service. So congratulations, Cindy. And with that, I think we'll move on to the next item.
Item 7, written communications.
And we do have two written communications that I'll briefly summarize. So first, from Velvet Roads with Glendale International Film Festival. She attended our July 19th Arts and Culture Commission meeting and is thanking all of us for welcoming her, and we appreciate her involvement and activism and all the work she does in the community. And then we also have a note from Jennifer Armstrong with SMU, National Center for Arts Research, and she was sharing with us, and we're very proud of this, that we are in the Los Angeles, Long Beach, Glendale, California Metro Division. We have ranked number 6 on the list of the 20 most arts vibrant large communities. So we are, of course, very proud of Glendale's contribution to that as well. And those are the two written communications we have. Next item.
Item 8, adjournment.
And we are adjourned.